What if everything you thought you knew about Buckingham Palace was just the surface? Behind those iconic gates, there's a labyrinth of secrets that would shock the world. Hidden rooms where unthinkable things happened. Secret passages leading to places you'd never imagine. And bizarre facilities that prove this palace is far stranger than any tour guide will ever tell you. Today we are exposing 7 hidden secrets inside Buckingham Palace that will change how you see the royal family forever. Fact number 7. An operating room created for royal surgery. When King George VI needed major lung surgery in 1951, he faced a decision no monarch wants to make. He could either be transported to a hospital where news of his serious health condition might leak to the public and cause national panic, or he could have the operation performed inside Buckingham Palace where privacy and secrecy could be completely maintained. The king chose the latter option, which meant palace staff had to transform one of the staterooms into a fully functional operating theater in a matter of days. The room chosen for this extraordinary medical procedure was the Buhl Room, which is normally used for formal palace functions and decorated with elaborate furniture made by the famous French cabinet maker André Charles Buhl. All of that priceless furniture had to be carefully removed and replaced with surgical equipment, operating tables, anesthesia machines, and everything else needed to perform serious surgery. Because the palace's electrical system wasn't designed to handle the intense lighting requirements of surgery, emergency lighting equipment had to be quickly installed throughout the room to ensure the surgical team would have adequate visibility. The operation was incredibly serious. King George was having part of his lung removed due to cancer, and in 1951, this type of surgery carried significant risks even under the best circumstances. But the challenges didn't stop with just setting up medical equipment. The palace also had to consider noise levels in and around Buckingham Palace because loud sounds during surgery could potentially disturb the delicate operation. The solution was to temporarily move the famous changing of the guard ceremony away from its usual location directly in front of the palace, ensuring complete silence during the critical hours of surgery. Fact number 6. Over 350 clocks requiring full-time staff. Buckingham Palace doesn't just have a few clocks scattered around to tell time. The palace is home to over 350 individual timepieces spread throughout its 775 rooms, and maintaining all of these clocks requires a dedicated team of specialists working full-time. The royal household employs 3 full-time horological conservators whose entire job revolves around keeping these clocks wound, properly maintained, and displaying the correct time at all moments. These aren't modern digital clocks that automatically adjust themselves either. Many are centuries-old mechanical clocks with intricate movements, delicate internal parts, and specific maintenance requirements that can't be handled by just anyone. The massive scale of this operation becomes especially clear twice a year when the clocks need adjustment for daylight saving time. When the time changes in spring and autumn, these 3 conservators spend over 30 hours just moving through the palace adjusting each individual clock forward or backward by 1 hour. That's more than a full work week dedicated solely to changing clocks, and it must be completed quickly to ensure all timepieces throughout the palace display the same correct time simultaneously. The process becomes even more complicated because some of the historical clocks in the royal collection simply cannot be wound backward due to their antique mechanisms and delicate construction. For these particular clocks, the conservators can't just turn the hands back an hour when daylight saving time ends in the fall. Instead, they must stop these clocks completely and let them sit idle for exactly 1 hour before carefully restarting them. This means someone has to monitor these precious timepieces to ensure they're restarted at precisely the right moment so they display accurate time. Every video is crafted with passion because these stories deserve to be told, and you deserve to know the real facts hidden beneath the surface. If this content moved you, inspired you, so please hit that like and subscribe button. Your support is what fuels this journey and motivates me to keep digging deeper, uncovering more secrets, and delivering the quality content you deserve. Let's back to our topic. Fact number 5. An underground squatter living in the tunnels. One of the strangest discoveries in Buckingham Palace's history happened when King George VI and the Queen Mother found a man secretly living in the underground tunnels beneath the palace. The man wasn't an intruder in the traditional sense. He wasn't there to steal anything or cause harm. He had simply decided to make himself at home in the palace's underground passages, and he'd apparently been down there for quite some time before anyone noticed his unauthorized presence beneath one of the world's most secure buildings. When the royal couple finally encountered him during an inspection of the underground areas, the man explained his presence by claiming to be a friend of someone who worked at the palace, as if that somehow justified his decision to move into the tunnels beneath Buckingham Palace without permission. What makes this story even more bizarre is how the man apparently conducted himself during his time as an underground squatter. According to reports of this incident, he was described as being very courteous and polite when he was finally discovered, treating the situation with a level of civility that was completely incongruous with the fact that he'd been secretly living underneath Buckingham Palace. This incident raises all sorts of questions about the extensive network of underground passages, tunnels, and basement areas that exist beneath Buckingham Palace. The palace sits on massive property, and the underground areas include everything from storage rooms and utilities infrastructure to rumored escape tunnels and communication passages that were built during World War II. The fact that someone could live down there undetected, even temporarily, suggests just how vast and complex these underground spaces really are. Fact number 4. A hidden door disguised as a mirror. If you've ever toured Buckingham Palace's grand staterooms, you've almost certainly walked directly past one of the most cleverly concealed secret doors in the entire building without having any idea it was there. In the elegant white drawing room, there's a massive floor-to-ceiling mirror that appears to be simply part of the room's lavish decoration. But this mirror is actually a hidden door that leads directly to the royal family's private apartments, and it's been used for decades as a discreet entrance for royals when they need to make dramatic entrances during state occasions and formal events. The mirror door sits within an elaborate gilded cabinet, and the mechanism is designed so seamlessly that even when standing right in front of it, you'd never suspect it could swing open. The ornaments and decorative objects sitting on top of the cabinet aren't just placed there for aesthetic purposes either. Every single piece has been permanently glued down to the surface because when the mirror door swings open, the entire cabinet moves with it as one unit. If those ornaments weren't secured in place, they'd come crashing down every time a member of the royal family used this secret entrance. This hidden passage remains actively used today, particularly during formal events when the royal family needs to enter the staterooms without walking through public corridors where staff or guests might see them. When Queen Elizabeth II hosted state banquets or grand receptions, she would often use this concealed entrance to appear suddenly in the white drawing room, giving guests the magical impression that she'd materialized out of nowhere. The door allows royals to move seamlessly between their private living quarters and the ceremonial spaces of the palace without being seen by anyone. Fact number 3. Secret tunnels connecting to government buildings. The tunnel systems beneath Buckingham Palace have been the subject of speculation and rumor for decades, with various claims about secret passages connecting the palace to other important government buildings across London. While the British government has never officially confirmed the full extent of these tunnels, there's strong evidence that underground passages do exist, and they were likely built during World War II to protect critical communication cables and provide secure routes for moving important people and sensitive information during air raids and emergencies. The most persistent rumor suggests that tunnels connect Buckingham Palace directly to Whitehall, the area where most of Britain's government offices are located, and possibly all the way to the Houses of Parliament. These wartime tunnels would have served multiple crucial purposes during the Blitz when German bombs were falling on London regularly. Underground passages would have allowed government officials and royal family members to move between locations without exposing themselves to danger above ground, and they also would have protected telephone lines, telegraph cables, and other communication infrastructure from being destroyed by bombing. But not all rumored tunnels serve such serious purposes. There's a confirmed story about a tunnel connecting St. James's Palace to Duke's Bar, a famous cocktail bar in London that's been serving drinks since 1933. A family member of someone connected to the royal household verified the existence of what they called a booze tunnel that provided a discreet route from the palace to the bar. Whether this tunnel was originally built for more official purposes and later repurposed for recreational use, or whether it was always intended as a private passage to a favorite drinking establishment, remains unclear and adds an amusing element to the palace's underground network. Fact number 2. A fully equipped medical surgery for emergencies. Buckingham Palace doesn't just have a basic first aid kit tucked away in some closet. The palace contains a fully equipped medical surgery capable of handling serious emergency procedures, and it's staffed by the Queen's personal general practitioner along with other medical professionals. This medical facility, known as the Royal Mews Surgery, isn't just a small examination room either. It has the equipment and capabilities needed to perform emergency operations if necessary, which makes complete sense when you consider that Buckingham Palace houses not only members of the royal family but also hundreds of staff members who work there every single day. The surgery provides National Health Service healthcare to all palace staff, which means employees who work inside Buckingham Palace can receive medical treatment right on the premises without having to leave for routine checkups or minor emergencies. This setup serves multiple important purposes. First, it provides immediate access to medical care for anyone who might have an accident or medical emergency while working in the palace. Second, it offers privacy for royal family members who might need medical attention without the complications of going to a public hospital where their presence would attract intense media attention and speculation. The existence of this surgery helps explain how King George VI was able to have his major lung operation performed inside the palace in 1951. While that particular surgery required the Buell Room to be converted into a temporary operating theater because of the procedure's complexity, the palace's existing medical surgery would have provided some of the infrastructure and expertise needed to support such a dangerous operation. Having a fully functional doctor's surgery inside Buckingham Palace is just another example of how the palace operates as a completely self-sufficient community. Fact number 1. A private post office inside the palace. Buckingham Palace is often described as a small village or self-contained city, and one of the most convincing pieces of evidence for this claim is that the palace has its own fully operational post office right inside the building. The court post office is run by Royal Mail and operates entirely within the palace grounds, serving all 800-plus staff members who work there daily. This isn't just a mailbox or small mailroom either. It's a complete postal facility where palace employees can mail letters, send packages, and handle all the same services they would find at any public post office in London. The existence of an internal post office makes practical sense when you consider the size and complexity of Buckingham Palace's operations. With hundreds of employees working inside the palace every day, including everyone from housekeepers and chefs to secretaries and security personnel, there's a genuine need for postal services that can handle both personal mail for staff and official correspondence for the royal household. Having a dedicated post office on site means palace workers don't have to leave the secured grounds during their shifts just to mail something. The court post office is just one of several facilities that make Buckingham Palace function as its own independent community. The palace also contains kitchens, a doctor's surgery, staff accommodations, and various other amenities that allow the entire operation to run smoothly without constantly relying on outside services. It's one of those behind-the-scenes details that tourists never see during public tours, but it's essential to keeping the palace running efficiently every single day.